Hey church, hey, thanks for joining us today as we have our 5-minute devotion time and continue to look at characters of the Bible, men and women who we can look at some of their successes and maybe some of their failures and make them real practical to what we're doing today. Today I'm going to be looking at this guy, John the Baptist. John had tremendous influence on the early church. He had lots of followers, and some who even became Jesus's followers and disciples. And of course, he was the forerunner of Jesus and his ministry. John, of course, was a relative of Jesus. We're not exactly sure what kind of relative he was, but perhaps he was a distant cousin, but they were related. John, as you know, had this message: repent, for the kingdom of heaven is near. And people would come out into the desert to talk to John, hear his message, and be baptized. Even leaders and politicians would go out to hear his message. John was an interesting character. The Bible says that he ate from the land, even bugs and insects, honey. He dressed differently. I'm sure he smelled differently. He looked different. But yet people caught the message. I wonder if in today's day, if we would have listened to the message, because John was so different. But yet people of that day came out. John was a bold guy, very courageous. He defied the rulers and the leaders of that day, challenging them to this almost new message as he was getting ready to welcome Jesus as the Messiah. But there's this curious story about John the Baptist when he kind of called out Herod Antipas, the ruler of that region. And he called out Herod for his marriage to his brother's wife. And John said, you shouldn't do that, Herod. And he threw him in jail for it. The curious part of it is that John, in prison, seemed to doubt. He doubted if Jesus was the one. Maybe in times of temptation and trial, the enemy was telling him even to renounce his faith. All you worked on, John, is worthless. I wonder. The Bible tells us that John, when he was in prison, sent 2 of his disciples out to check out Jesus. Could this really be the Messiah? Is it really the one? Boy, I'm not sure. I'm doubting. And he asked them to report back to him what they saw. And what they saw was people were healed. The lame were able to walk. The people that were blind were able to see. People that had leprosy were cured. And of course, the gospel message was preached. And so as they were hustling back to tell John in prison, man, we're thinking this is the Messiah. We've got to tell you another thing. That Jesus said, you were the true messenger, John. He said that. He said that you're a prophet, John. And in fact, he said these words: of anyone born of a woman, no one is greater than you. Man, I wonder if that just encouraged John. He was probably so excited at that point, even in the depths, perhaps, of his depression, his fears, his doubts, being alone in prison. Did it rejuvenate his faith? It seemed to be. Guys, what can we learn from John's? Certainly his courage and his tremendous faith, for him following through in his mission, yes. But even in doubts and fears, he reached out to Jesus. Maybe you have concerns. Maybe you're bummed about something, or you're not sure about your faith. There's a lot of things not going your way, and you think, gosh, I'm following the Lord, and it's just not working out. I want to ask you to reach out to Jesus, because he's the author and perfecter of your faith. He will continue to help you walk in your faith. Just reach out to him. I appreciate you listening today, and thanks again. We'll see you again soon.